I backed off when my wife said, "I'm not your property." Betrayal story. The first time she said it, I thought she was just angry. The second time, I knew something had changed. The third time, I realized I had already lost her. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday night. I had just come home from work when I noticed she was dressed differently. Not inappropriate, just intentional. Makeup done, new perfume. The kind she used to wear when we first started dating. "Going somewhere?" I asked casually. "Out," she replied, grabbing her purse. "With who?" She paused, just for a second. But I noticed. Friends. That word had become her shield. I nodded. I didn't push, but something in my gut tightened. Over the past 6 months, Lena had become distant. Always texting, smiling at her phone, tilting the screen away when I walked into the room. Late nights. Work events. Girls' dinners. Networking. I told myself I was being insecure until that Tuesday. "What time will you be back?" I asked. She sighed loudly. "Why does it matter?" "Because we usually have dinner together." She turned sharply. "I don't need to report my schedule to you." "I'm not asking for a report," I said calmly. "I'm asking because I'm your husband." That's when she said it. "I'm not your property." The words hit harder than a shout would have. "I didn't say you were." "But you act like it," she snapped. "Always checking, always asking. It's suffocating." Suffocating. I stood there, stunned. "I'm asking normal questions." "Normal to you," she shot back. "I need space. I need independence. Just because we're married doesn't mean you own me." Own her? The argument escalated. She accused me of being controlling. I accused her of being secretive. She grabbed her keys and stormed out. But before she closed the door, she looked at me and said something that would echo in my head for weeks. "Back off." And I did. That was my mistake. Or maybe it was my moment of clarity. From that night on, I stopped asking. She went out. I didn't question it. She came home at 2 a.m. I pretended to be asleep. She guarded her phone. I didn't try to look. I backed off completely. At first, she seemed relieved, almost pleased. "See," she said one evening, "this is better. No tension." But what she didn't realize was that backing off didn't mean I stopped noticing. It meant I started observing. Patterns became obvious. The same name popping up on her screen. Daniel. At first, it was just Dan, work. Then it changed to just a single initial. D. Then it was no name at all, just a number. She would step into another room to answer calls. She would smile at messages she never shared. One night, she left her laptop open. I didn't plan to look. I swear I didn't. But a notification popped up in the corner of the screen. Last night was worth every risk. My chest tightened. I didn't need to open the message. I already knew. That's the strange thing about betrayal. You feel it long before you prove it. I closed the laptop gently. No confrontation, no shouting, just silence. I backed off even more. I stopped touching her, stopped initiating conversation, stopped trying. She noticed. "Why are you so distant?" she asked one Sunday morning. I almost laughed at the irony. "You asked me to back off," I replied calmly. "This isn't what I meant." "What did you mean?" "I just didn't want to feel controlled." "Are you?" I asked quietly. She hesitated. That hesitation was louder than any confession. A week later, I decided to test something. She told me she had a late meeting, important presentation, wouldn't be home until midnight. Instead of questioning her, I said, "Good luck." At 9 p.m., I drove past her office. The building was dark. Completely dark. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I just drove home. She walked in at 12:47 a.m., smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. "Long night?" I asked from the couch. She froze slightly. "Yeah, exhausting." I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said something she didn't expect. "I know." Silence filled the room. Her face drained of color. "Know what?" she asked carefully. "I know you're not my property." She swallowed. "And I know I'm not your fool." The mask slipped. Just for a second. "How long?" I asked. She didn't deny it. That hurt more than if she had. A few months, she whispered. Months, while accusing me of suffocating her, while demanding space. Is it serious? I asked. She nodded slowly. I didn't mean for it to happen. They never do. I sat back and exhaled. I backed off because you asked me to, I said. Not because I stopped caring. I backed off because I thought you needed room to breathe. Tears filled her eyes. I do need independence. Independence doesn't mean betrayal. She covered her face. I felt lost, she said. I felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. So you found yourself in someone else's arms? She didn't answer. That was answer enough. Here's the truth no one talks about. When someone says, I'm not your property, sometimes what they really mean is, I don't want to feel accountable. Marriage isn't ownership, but it is responsibility, respect, transparency. I stood up slowly. So what now? She asked, her voice shaking. For once, I said calmly, I'm not going to chase you. That scared her, more than yelling would have. I'll stay with my brother for a few days, I continued. You decide what you want, him or this marriage. And if I choose this, she whispered, then you cut him off completely. No half measures, no secrets. And we start therapy. And if I don't? I looked at her steadily. Then you're free. Completely free. No property. No husband. She cried that night. I didn't. For the first time in months, I felt clear. Backing off showed me something important. You can't hold on to someone who is already halfway out the door. 2 weeks later, she ended it with him. At least, that's what she says. We're in counseling now. Trust isn't rebuilt with promises. It's rebuilt with consistency. And I've learned something too. Backing off doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it's strength. Because when you step back, you see the truth without emotion clouding it. She wasn't my property, but she was my partner. And partners don't disappear into the night and call it independence. Whether this marriage survives, I still don't know. But I do know one thing. The moment she said, I'm not your property, wasn't the beginning of control. It was the beginning of revelation. And once you see the truth clearly, you can't unsee it.